Hello and welcome to my channel, Richard's Home Mechanics. Today we've got a little job here. We are going to adjust a motorcycle chain the correct way. Okay, let's get on with adjusting this wheel. First thing I normally do before I adjust my wheel is I give this chain a good damn clean. I normally get a rag, I put gunk on it or zinc jizzer, and I give this chain a very good clean. Reason being, in the winter or any day, especially in the winter, if you're riding this and you get all the grit on here, it will act like a grinding paste and it will chew and wear your teeth on your sprocket and your chain very rapidly quickly. So if you're wondering why you've got your bike and you're thinking, oh my god, my chain's only lasted 12 months, it's because you're not cleaning it. Clean it, get the grit off, it will last longer. I've had this chain on here for 3 years and I've done over 10,000 miles, daily miles on this little old bike, and I've still got the original chain and sprocket, only due to the fact that I'm cleaning it. So please clean it, it will last longer. Once you've cleaned it, you need to put some of this on. Spin the wheel round, just a quick, don't need a lot. Job done. Right, let that wind spill round, then spin it back. Now you'll notice as that wheel's spinning, it's not throwing any oil off. This is a special chain lubricant. Only use this. Do not put oil, engine oil, or be tempted to do WD-40, because as that wheel goes round while you're riding it, the oil will spray on your tyre, and you know what's going to happen. The first bend you're going to come to, you're going to come off. So please, just use this. Right, that side done. Let's crack on and adjust this chain, shall we? First things first. What we need to do, we need to release the lock nuts. Put one spanner in there. I've got these size are 10 mils. I hold one there, and with the other one, while I'm holding it, I crack the nut off. Now these are 10 mil nuts. They are pretty standard on, especially these older bikes that I've got here. Crack it off. Leave that nut in there, but you just need to loosen that one off to give you room to adjust. And we'll nip round the other side and do exactly the same. Here we go, it's exactly the same. Put the spanner on there, hold the lock nut and loosen off the other one. Now that's done. Right, that's the locking system released. What we need to do now is we need to release or loosen the main wheel spindle that goes through. So what we're going to use, I'm going to put a socket this end and I'm going to put a spanner the other. And we're just going to crack this off. Here we go. Right, cracked it. Put that on there, just loosen this. Now you don't need to, when you adjust your chain, you obviously don't need to take the spindle out, you just need to loosen it, just loosen it. So look, that's loose, look, doesn't need to be tight, doesn't have to be right on, it's just so you can move that spindle moves quite freely. There's enough room in there, slack to adjust it. Well, that's the spindle done, and it's as simple as this. What we're going to do is we are going to use that nut there. Keep this one out of the way because that's a locking nut, and this will adjust the chain by going in. You do equal amounts like that. You'll see the chain. If you look down here, watch the chain. I'll loosen it off, and as I tighten it up, you will see that chain go up. See it? Just go up slightly. Right. Just a little tip here on many bikes, and this is no different to many that are used on, especially in the winter. You'll find that there's normally a little marker right at the top here. Now this is obsolete, it's now rusted, I cannot see how to adjust that chain. So you say to yourself, how do I know I've got that right? Well, a simple tip that I use, because I can't actually see where the spindle is I use a tape measure, a ruler, and I measure from there to the end. Now we have got 20 mil from this bit to that bit. Now when we adjust the other side, and that's 20 mil, that's the equivalent of using a marker. So long as this is 20 mil from that side to the end of the swinging arm, we should be good to go. So that chain is still slack, but I'm going to adjust the other side. Take your time, it needs to be right. I'm going to put the tape measure on here, 20 mil, just over. You need to pull this back. So say, take your time, frequently check it, go up against the bracket. Now that's 20 mil. I've got 20 mil this side, and I should have 20 mil this side as well. which is 20 mil. So by doing that, we've eliminated not having to use them mark, and we now know that spindle is dead center and this wheel is straight by just simply marking that like that. Adjust the chain. Now I can see I normally go 20 mil. Right, sometimes I ride pillion with this. So what happens when you sit on this bike, the swinging arm will go like that, and it's the equivalent of making it longer. So what happens, this chain will go tighter. A common mistake that many people make on motorbikes is they'll adjust the chain up in the air and go, yeah, I normally do about 20 mil slack. Now I'm not far out there, I normally do 20 mil along there. That's fine, it's not going to come off, it's sitting on there quite nicely. But what happens, people will think, well, that's too slack, I'll take it up to 10 mil. So think, oh yeah, that's lovely, so that chain hardly moves. The problem is, when you sit on your bike, the swinging arm will extend. It's like a banana, it will go like that and your chain will go really tight, and when you're riding your bike you'll wonder why it's making this creaking and grinding noise. It's because the chain is too tight. So word of advice, when you adjust your chain, think, am I going to be riding on my own, or if I'm going to take a pillion, you must allow slack for that pillion, because trust me, when you get two people on this bike, the swinging arm's going to go up, especially when you're going on humps and that, and this chain could possibly snap, and you do not want that wrapping around your leg. Right, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go pillion on this, so I've allowed a 20 mil, which used to be a quarter of an inch or something like that, off the top of my head, slack. So when I sit on it, when that swinging arm comes up, that chain will be taken up by the tension of the swinging arm. Now I'm going to leave that. Now what we do now is as simple as this. You spin these locking nits in. Do this before you lock the spindle. Lock that up. Get your other spanner. Make sure that is nice and tight. Not over tight. You lock them together. Now that stops that wheel moving backward, oh sorry, going forward. That locks that wheel. Let's do the other side as well. Put the spanner on, spin the wheel back on, like so. And you lock that off like that. Now, very important thing to remember is when you're working on, or especially when you're doing a job like this, do not walk away from what you are doing, because at the moment I've done this up. If someone calls you in and says, you want a cup of tea, you might forget to do this up. So do it all in one. Do your adjustment and then do this spindle up straight away. Trust me, you do not want to be thinking later on, oh my god, did I do that spindle up, that spindle up. So as soon as you've done the adjustment, get this spindle done up. Do not mess about, get it done up for safety. So that's what I do, and that relies, I do that on many jobs. If I'm, say, torquing a head gasket down, I do not walk away halfway through it. I finish the job and I mark it on a bit of paper that it has been torqued and torqued to that tolerance. Now on here there is obviously a torquing reference on here, but I've done this one many times and I'm very used to what the torque is on it. So basically, if you've seen my previous videos, I do the 1, 2, 3. So I normally go, right, we're going to push the bike down because it's on the scent stand, and we're going to go 1, 2. Now I can feel that time now. I've got a very big ratchet on here, so I don't need to do too much, because obviously the longer the ratchet, the more leverage you've got. Now here we go, that's 2. I'm going to do one more. Now I can feel that's tight. Don't want to go too tight, but tight enough to hold this spindle in. That's 3. And what I finally do is do one more check. I take it off, I'll bring it up, and I just feel that's tight. Now I'm having to put a lot of leverage on there. That's getting nowhere. So that is now done. That is a chain adjusted. So we've cleaned it, we've inspected it. While you're here, check the wheel bearings. Nothing wrong with that. Now this bike is now ready to go back on the road. There we go, chain's all adjusted on the bike and she's back on the road again. If you enjoy this sort of style video, please feel free to subscribe and hit that notify button. I've got plenty more coming on their way. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Richard's Home Mechanics.